Okay, so here we are in the new year. This is our second episode of the new year. Welcome to the Full Circle Pod, where we dive into self-help, current events, and culture with common sense and clarity. I just love saying that. I love saying that. It just feels good. It feels right to me. And I'm so glad that we're doing this. I'm glad every single time because this really feels like a joy and a privilege to me. And I think is this episode 5, episode 6? I don't know. I'm starting to lose count. Been making these episodes for a little over a month now. Look, Happy New Year to all of y'all. I know we talked about that, the New Year's episode. We just recently did that. So wherever you are right now, Happy New Year to you. I hope y'all had an opportunity to take a listen to the first episode of the year and dive in a little bit into your goals, your aspirations for the year, your resolutions. Hopefully you have some revelations about those resolutions that you got. Yeah, giving you a little bit. If you didn't listen, just go listen right now. Stop what you're doing. If you haven't listened to that episode from last week, yes, go ahead. I've been taping so many of these back to back, but go ahead and take a listen to that episode and then flash into this one. Before we dive into today, all right, this podcast episode is sponsored by absolutely nobody. I got a little tongue-tied there, but that's all right. This episode is sponsored by absolutely nobody, okay, except for your boy sitting in the chair right over here. So if you want to support, or if you know somebody that will benefit from hearing this podcast, which I think many people will, but that's just me, because I got to pat myself on the back and give myself a pump up. But if you know anybody that would benefit, please feel free to share this with them. And of course, leave us a comment, follow us on social media at Full Circle Pod on Instagram. With that being said, you can also reach out and let us know if you'd like to support in any way. I genuinely appreciate it. What are we talking about today? I already know. I'm just doing it for effect, pausing for effect. Here's what we're talking about today, okay? Today, what I really want to dive into, I made a couple of notes about this, but today I specifically want to dive into the art of not taking life too seriously. Stop right there. Okay. I know some of y'all were thinking because we had that last episode where we talked a bit about, goal setting. It was like, this is a little intense. Like, this sounds like we're getting lined up and we're serious, right? And that's okay, right? That's all part of it. But I do think we got to learn to have a little bit of fun along the way, man. I do think we got to learn to do that. Let me ask you this. Do you know anybody in your life that they always find a way to take something fun, lighthearted, exciting, and turn it into something serious and turn it into something that's just like, man, you really had to find the death in the life, right? You had to find like the darkness in the light. You had to find like the just a way to pull something down. You had to be the Grinch on Christmas. Do y'all know anybody like that? I do. And it just brings down the mood. It really, really does. For me, see, I'm always trying to find the humor in stuff. And don't get me wrong, I have had my moments where I have been that guy, okay? I've had those moments rather, where like sometimes I'm going through so much in my life where maybe just stuff is not going right. It's almost like, so a perfect example, right? Let's say you have a bunch of like money in your account and you're like, okay, I got this perfectly set aside for something. And then it's like when it rains, it pours, right? So like, just when you think that that's set up, there goes that thumbs up again. Just when you think everything right is set up, that random charge comes through your account and you're like, oh my God, here we go, right? And then you are driving to an appointment, you get into an accident, right? Or you get a flat tire, right? And there's this temptation to like find the negativity in everything that's happening in life, or to just let the stress get to you, right? But that's not a fun way to live, right? That's not a fun way to even face your problems and challenges. And I know it can get really very overwhelming. So I don't want to deny that. I know life can be really, really tough. However, I want to dive a little bit into a couple of ways that we can enjoy life and ways that you can find the humor and the joy in your day-to-day, even if it gets rough. So with that being said, all right, I want to start off and really just focus things here. Life is overwhelming. Let's just acknowledge that. I know we got a lot of people out there. They're just like, oh my God, you optimists. They're so annoying. They're so like full of optimism. I don't know, like they're so positive about everything, right? I don't believe in just blind optimism. Right. I do believe that true optimism is not just being positive. True optimism means you have to acknowledge that stuff sucks sometimes. Because let's just be honest, sometimes life sucks. Sometimes things are rough, but you have to be able to acknowledge that things suck for you to then be able to turn around and find the joy or find the humor in it. And so, pardon me, excuse me, got to clear my throat. There goes the miracle water. I think that because life can be so overwhelming, if we stop taking it so seriously, I believe our response to life can actually have an effect on what we feel from life. Because I think sometimes we're so busy thinking like, oh, life is just happening to me. I'm just existing in this space. And there are some people out there that they just think that it's happening to me. I don't know what to do with it. And it's just like, I'm a victim of circumstance. Like, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes for me, I'm just like, listen, man, we just out here trying to function. We out here trying to function. You know what I'm saying? Like we out here just trying to groove. We're out here just trying to go with the vibe of life. And sometimes it feels like when you get into that state, you can start worrying and thinking to yourself, oh man, you know, as I'm starting to chill out, I'm starting to relax into life. What's coming on the other side of that? Like, I don't want to get too good. I don't want to get too relaxed. I don't want to get too calm. I don't want to get too, used to this way of being, because what if it turns around and whacks me upside the head, right? Well, I really want to dive today into the art of relaxing and having fun and letting go of pressure to be perfect. And that's not just taking stuff seriously in terms of events that are happening around you or, you know, a comment that somebody makes, but just even your approach to the stuff that you want to see change in your life with, or the growth that you want to have. I think it's so important, and it's truly worth it to be able to celebrate and enjoy change that's happening in your life, to enjoy the time with the people that are all around you, rather. So what I want to do here is show y'all a quick little example of what I'm talking about. Let me shift my screen over here. Here we go. So I don't know about y'all, but I like to get information about stuff, especially psychology has always been fascinating to me. I've always been really, really curious about it. And I was looking this thing up on Psych Central, and it just talks a little bit about taking life too seriously. So what are a couple ways we take life too seriously, right? For example, worrying about the small things, okay? Experiencing high levels of frustration and irritability, okay? I know a lot of people out there that are like that. They just, no matter what happens, right? It's like they cannot find some sort of like a mid-level in terms of response and feeling, right? Now, I think we all know some neurotic people. I think we all can be neurotic at times depending on what happens. But there are just people that we know out there, no matter what happens, this is their response, right? They've almost like patterned their life after this. How do you feel around people like that? Because I know I don't like it. It's annoying. It's very, very annoying, right? Because around those people, you just feel like you can't relax, right? Another thing here, they don't have the time or energy to connect with friends, family, or coworkers. Now, I do want to draw a line of separation between people that are, dealing with, whether it's depression, anxiety, things like that. Like, obviously, we know those are conditions that people deal with, and sometimes this can look like that. But I'm just talking about somebody that's just, they're just like wound up a little too tight, got to stick up their butt, just can't chill out, have to do everything perfectly. And they have so many high expectations for others because they have high expectations for themselves. And they're so disappointed because they're not meeting those expectations. So they feel like they have to make life miserable for everybody else. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is anybody else out there like that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Are you listening? Is this you? Perhaps might be a time for you to change. Reflect. We all can change somewhere. I'm just saying. If the boot fits. One of my favorite quotes from Toy Story. Okay, so rarely have time to unwind. Is your life so busy and so jam-packed that you don't have time to unwind? All this stuff affects your mental health and your ability to have a good relationship with yourself and good interpersonal relationships as well, right? Are you focusing on the negative aspect of every single situation? So, for example, if you let's take a step from that, because that's really important. You have somebody that, let's say you go watch a performance, right? Or you're in the studio listening to one of your homies' tracks, right? And this is something that, listen, me and all my homies, we love to get together. We love to make music. Sometimes we do it in the studio. Sometimes we do it at the rooftop in my apartment. Sometimes we're literally crammed into the living room on a couch trying to, you got the speakers on the table. You got like the mic over here, and we're trying to cook this beat up and then lay down vocals. And what ends up happening is you get in a zone where you're listening to something. And don't get me wrong, I do believe in like critically listening to stuff to give good feedback. But you hear how great and awesome something is, and your first reaction is to find what's wrong with it. That's pride. That's just straight up pride. Because, and I've been guilty of it, I've done it before, but it's like, where can you find what's working with something? And don't get me wrong, I'm all for critiques and feedback and everything like that. But where can you find where something's working? Where can you find the spot where you can give you can give positive feedback to somebody about what they're already doing, and then help them to build on an area where there's a challenge? Listen, y'all, man, I'll just say, a lot of times I believe that we feel these ways because we might feel in our own ways that we're not measuring up. So we're trying to prove something. Stop that. It's a bunch of nonsense. Just stop it. Okay. Having a hard time forgiving other people, thinking about the worst case scenario before everything else, avoiding activities outside of your comfort zone. I mean, these are just, there's a variety of things over here that, we can observe. The reason why I bring all of this up is because all of this, it's affecting your mood. It's affecting the way that you see the world. If this looks like you today, I really want you to take a step back and just be like, hey, life does not have to be this way. I can do something about it. I can change this. And it might take, if you've gotten used to living like that, it might take you a second. But take a step back and think, how are my daily interactions actually going? How do I feel about them? Am I just an autopilot? You know how you do something first? They say it like takes, I think, like 21 days to build a habit or something. You know how when you first do something, or you're first learning how to, whether it's playing a sport or taking up a hobby, whatever it is, it's kind of weird. It's a little awkward at first. It don't feel right. I'll tell you that much. It don't feel like you're in flow state yet, but you're doing it and you're getting the rhythm of it and the hang of it. And then you wake up one day and you're like, that felt so natural. Like you didn't even think about it. It just kicked in, right? I think that's what happens so many times in life, where we're just so used to taking ourselves so seriously, trying to be so perfect, listening to that voice in our head that beats us down and dogs us on a regular basis. that we just get on autopilot. We stop living, we stop enjoying, we stop finding the joy and the humor, even in our mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing more insufferable and frustrating and annoying than somebody who you're watching try to be so perfect, and they're making mistakes while trying to be so perfect, but yet they're beating everybody else down. And I just think, like, at the core of our humanity is imperfection. So I think if we can learn to be okay with not being perfect and learn to be okay, you made a mistake. I got that in common with, 8 billion people on the planet? When you think of it that way, it kind of lessens the impact, at least for me, it lessens the stress of it. I love this. This is always so funny to me. Like maybe a week or so ago, I was out with my my homie Joe. 'Cause we're both Joseph, so it's just, I gotta call him Joe. Every once in a while, he'll probably do the same for me, and then people are gonna be like, it'll be like the Spider-Man meme. It's like, which one is who? I don't know. Let me know which one. But no, we're both Joseph. And we were out at this bar. It's kind of got like a bar club vibe in LA. And, it's so funny to me. You got music playing, you know what I mean? You got like, they're playing TV Off by Kendrick, and all they go is like, ba, 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 ooh, ba, 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 hey, ba, ba, that part, hey, mustard, right? And I'm sitting there like, I'm just ready. Like, I'm getting ready for that beat to drop. And me and my friend, like, obviously we have a video. I think if I have a clip of it, I'll put it in here, maybe at the end. But me and my friend were like going crazy. And I see some of these dudes just stand on the wall like this. And I'm just sitting there like, listen, bro, more power to you. But I see this so much where people in this city, they take themselves so seriously. They're trying to look so cool. And they're waiting until somebody else who's actually cool, or like maybe a celebrity status or whatever, walks in the room. And then that person might start turning up and doing more fun stuff. And then now all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, well, they did it. So yeah, I guess I could let loose a little bit. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, do you think that makes you attractive? Do you think that makes you look cool? It's like, nah, bro, you look stiff and dumb. And just like, you can't have a good time. Like for me personally, I'm like, look, I'm a dance. I'm going to get hyped. If that's my favorite song, I'm going to turn up. I might not even have all the right moves. I don't care. I want to walk away from that night and that moment with a memory with my friends, knowing that it's like, hey, we had a good time that night. We have either a mental memory or we have a video memory or both, whatever. But we're just enjoying life. I'm not trying to show off for the people in the room or to get some person's attention. Nah. When you're living life, you got to be here. Okay? I want y'all to click in with me right now. You got to be here. Just you and what's right in front of you. You got to be present and not thinking about what everybody else is thinking. It's just you and the moment. And that's way more fun, because then you actually get to take more from life when you're just being present, instead of constantly being so worried about what everybody else is going to think. Because really, to be honest, taking life super seriously comes from worries about how you are going to be perceived or how you're going to come off. When you don't worry about that, when you couldn't care less, when you don't even have a semblance of a concern about somebody else's opinion, that's when you really start living. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that other people's opinions don't matter. I'm just saying that if you live for the approval of others, you will die by their rejection. And that's not worth it. That's not worth it. Bro, listen, I get it. I'm talking to you out there, my guys out there. I know you step up into the club or the bar or whatever, and you standing up on the wall like a wallflower looking like this, looking all serious. I know you think that makes you look attractive. You look constipated. I get it. Have fun. Let loose. Enjoy your life. You only have one. So, moving forward, I really think that there's a couple of things that we can do to improve that feeling, that feeling of just all this stress and weight. There's a couple of things we could do to take some of that away. Here we go. The first thing I would say, laugh. I don't care how you do it. Find a reason to laugh, right? One of my favorite shows is The Office. Some of y'all, I know there's a whole Office, Parks and Rec, whatever. Some people, I don't even know how this comes into the picture. It's like Office and New Girl. And I'm like, two completely different shows. Like they could not be, like they're not even the same format. I do like New Girl for all of its reasons. And I do like The Office for all of its reasons. And I also love Parks and Rec. You can love everything. You don't take it too serious, right? But I will say personally, like one thing I love about The Office is Michael Scott is my favorite character on that show, or at least one of. But what I love about it is that, yeah, he is the boss of the company at Dunder Mifflin. And it's for some reason, he has like all these unconventional methods of doing stuff that he's found a way to be super successful with. But he just doesn't take himself too seriously. And I think that even though he says some wild stuff, bro says some wild stuff, he's kind of lovable. He's likable because he's just being himself. And I think that not taking yourself too seriously comes from embracing the truth of your imperfections and who you are, and just laughing at yourself when you make a mistake. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what's the point? What is the point? Literally, like, just what are you doing, right? It's so funny to me that we have opportunities around us to find joy all the time. Sometimes we don't see that, or we don't focus on it as much because there's all these other things that we're facing in life. Go to a comedy club. I love comedy clubs. Laugh Factory. There's so many. I know Laugh Factory is not too far away from me, but I just love comedy in general. You don't even have to get up off the couch if you don't even want to leave your house. Go on Netflix, go on YouTube. There's tons of comedy videos, and find something that makes you laugh. It could be, I don't know, it could be like, I know when I was growing up, America's Funniest Home Videos used to be like primetime comedy for me. But yeah, like watching fail videos. I don't know. That is kind of a little twisted though. I ain't gonna lie. Getting joy out of somebody else's misfortune. But that's a whole different podcast episode. We'll get into that later. But just find something that makes you laugh. Find something that makes you joyful. I would also say, find humor in small things, even in awkward situations. Sometimes acknowledging that it's awkward for you and another person, sometimes that just lightens it just lightens the mood. And it can be very, very relatable to somebody who might also be taking life a little bit too seriously. And so, yeah, I mean, like, listen, laugh. That's the most important thing I can tell you. Laughter is medicine. There are so many articles about laughter. There's so many articles about that you can go look up. But if I need to tell you that you need to laugh just so you can be alive, you probably have bigger fish to fry. You probably got more you got to look at. So, laugh. I would also say, listen, embrace the imperfection. Just be okay with it. Be okay with things not going right. Be okay with making mistakes, especially with what we just talked about this past week. And the mistakes that, a lot of people make that prompts them to make resolutions, it's okay. It's okay to embrace the imperfection of that journey. You're aiming super high, and that's admirable and that's amazing. But also just be okay with like, hey, you know what? I didn't hit the mark. I'm working at it, and I'm going to fine tune it, and I'm going to make things better. That's going to get you far. That's going to make you feel better about life. Not taking it too seriously, because you might get to your goal, but you won't enjoy the journey. And as I always say, listen, even if you got, I love road trips, right? I love road trips. I love taking them. And I've helped my family and friends move cross country at least 2 or 3 times. One thing I'll tell you is this: even though I want to get there, when I put that address in the GPS and we set out in the direction, I know I'm going in that direction. But what's more exciting about going in that direction are the memories along the way that I have with friends and family, the playlists that we share, the stories that we tell, the revelations that we have about one another, the things we learn, the random funny moments, the stuff that just happens that you just could never see coming because it's just unscripted. It's not planned. That is the beauty of life. And so I just think that that's something that y'all should, definitely think about. Like, really embrace the journey and not the destination. Stop being so end focused, because even though you're heading towards that destination, you still got to look right in front of you and you got to roll on the road you're on. That's what it is. And then lastly, I just want to tell y'all, listen, take time to have fun. Just make time for it. I know that sounds really, really weird. We're all trying to adult out here. If you're listening to this, maybe maybe you're married, you got tons of responsibilities running a business. Maybe you got a mini you running around. That's crazy. First of all, that's just crazy. More power to you and blessings. But for real, like, find time to have fun. Find something that you enjoy doing, even if it's one part of the day for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm all about creating little spots of margin to do the things that you enjoy, because you don't want to rob yourself of life, because I believe that all of our daily interactions, whether it's with strangers or friends, we should be giving life and receiving life. That's what it should be. And life is complicated. Sometimes that doesn't always look like joyful life. Sometimes things are going to happen that are going to piss you off and you have to respond accordingly. But it's still life-giving. You're giving some sort of response that's related to life. So I would just encourage you guys, like, make time for the things that you enjoy, whether it's fun, creative. Sometimes it's just like putting on a TV show that you enjoy and not thinking about anything. And that makes you feel good. Maybe it's writing in a gratitude journal. Maybe it's going for a drive. Maybe it's going up to your favorite lookout and just chilling out. Whatever it is. Have fun. Do it. Now. Today. Maybe you'll take this podcast up with you. Hopefully you have reception or you've downloaded it. Do something. Enjoy yourself. And then I'll just say this. Lastly, I know I already said lastly, but this is really the thing I wanted to get to. Man, I'm learning this the hard way. Say no. Can we do that? In fact, Cameron, come over here. Can you say no? Can we start saying no collectively in 2025 to stuff that we really know we don't want to do, but we feel like we're going to miss out? Can we just say no? Can we do that? I think things are going to be a lot more effective in our life if we learn how at times when we don't want to do something, or we would like to stay home, or we want to be a little bit more to ourselves or reflect, but we feel the pressure of people. We feel the pressure. That's another place where taking things too seriously can come from, because we feel pressure to perform. Let go of that. Start saying no. You want to go on a date? No. You want to go out to a get together? No. You want to go over to the friend's house and hang out? No. You want to go out for a drink? No. And start saying yes to things that you want to do, because I believe the more fulfilled that you feel in life because you're saying yes to you and what you want to do, then when you feel filled up, you're going to then be able to start giving of that freely to other people. Trust me, I'm learning this in some ways myself. So I don't believe in practice what you preach. I believe in preach what you practice, and I'm working on it. So I'm just saying, y'all, give yourself room to fly. For real. And just spread some joy. Spread some joy. Try to make people smile, like in some little way, shape, or form. Everyone's walking around these days mean mugging, just like you see people at the grocery store, you see people, just walking in the mall. And I'm not saying go around like the Joker, be like what the hell? Don't do that. But just find a reason. Just smile at somebody. Say good morning. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of how I was raised. Maybe I'm the weird one, and I'm okay with that. But maybe it's just because I was raised in an environment where it's like you say good morning to people. You say hello. You acknowledge people. You acknowledge circumstances that are around you. I'm not saying you got to become the mayor of whatever city that you're in or the grocery store greeter, but I'm just saying, like, we many times complain about the things in life that we refuse to do ourselves. We say that there's a gap or no one's doing it or it's not happening, but we're not being the catalyst. And I think that's the problem. We're lacking leadership because we're not willing to take the first step to be what we want in the world. That might sound super idealistic and optimistic, but I'm telling you, it's worked in my life and I know it to be a fact. Start being what you want to see. Start spreading joy. Stop taking yourself too seriously. Find reasons to be happy. It's going to make your life so much better. I can guarantee you that. Listen, I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen and engage with me today. Listen, life's too short. It's literally too short to stress about anything, okay? I want you to laugh at yourself. If you drop something by accident, you break something by accident, you forget something, you get something wrong, laugh at yourself. Just go, all right? I don't know if it's going to sound like, right? That's my evil maniacal laugh, right? But seriously, like, give yourself, seriously, not trying to be serious, but seriously, give yourself the opportunity to find something to be joyful about. I guarantee you it's going to make your life better and it's going to make people want to be around you a whole lot more, right? Check this out. This is what I'm going to show this to you guys before we close things out today. This is a podcast here. This is a little short from Chris Williamson. And I love watching his shorts as well as his episodes. If you haven't seen his videos, check it out. But I want to end the day with this short. Check it out right now.
Stop taking things so seriously. No one is getting out of this game alive, literally. In 3 generations, no one will even remember your name. And if that doesn't give you liberation to just drop your problems and find some joy, I don't know what will. Life is inherently ridiculous and guaranteed to end sooner or later. So you might as well enjoy the ride. Stop take.
Okay. So there you have it. Stop taking life so seriously. Enjoy it. That's all that matters. We are given one opportunity. Enjoy life. Have fun with it. Take the stick out your butt. Have a great day from your favorite brother. See y'all.